Have you ever walked into your own home and felt something was different, heavy, almost suffocating? Sometimes nothing needs to be out of place for the soul to perceive that the environment is charged. The walls may be clean, the furniture organized, but the energy doesn't lie. It's as if the air becomes denser, as if the silence of the house holds a hidden sound, a weight no one can explain. But is this just a figment of the imagination? Or is your home trying to send you clear signals that it needs spiritual protection? Many believe that home is merely a physical shelter made of bricks, doors, and windows. But in reality, it is much more than that. It is a living energy field, breathing with the emotions of those who live there, storing memories, and even absorbing influences from people who come and go. Every visit, every conversation, every strong thought that echoes within the house leaves a trace, and over time this trace can transform into something good and light, or into a burden that weighs down everyone who lives there. Have you ever noticed that there are homes you enter and feel an immediate sense of peace, and others where you can barely breathe properly? This is no coincidence. The most disturbing thing is that we often ignore the signs our home gives us. We prefer to think it's just fatigue, stress, or even coincidence. But what if it's not? What if it's the house itself crying out for help, asking for spiritual protection to avoid succumbing to energies that silently accumulate? Think about it. How many times have you felt better outside your home than inside? How many times has your mind cleared elsewhere, while in your own room you felt drained and powerless? Maybe it's not you who's drained. Maybe it's your home that's crying out for help. The ancients used to say that the home is like a temple, and every temple needs to be cared for, cleaned, and protected. But we don't always do this. The rush of life leads us to focus only on the physical. We clean the floor, arrange the furniture, change the light bulbs, but we forget to clean the invisible. And it's in this forgetfulness that dense energies settle in, like dust accumulating in hidden corners. The problem is that this spiritual dust doesn't just stay in the corners, it spreads through the air, sickening relationships, weakening vitality, and robbing harmony. Have you ever noticed arguments arising out of nowhere at home? Words that escalate into bigger fights than they should, heavy looks that seem to carry resentment even when there's no apparent reason. These are signs many ignore, but they reveal that there's something beyond the physical at work in the environment. Bad energy doesn't just sit still. It feeds on negative emotions, growing with resentment, jealousy, and envy that may have entered your home with someone who visited. Have you ever considered that perhaps a simple visit left behind more than a "see you later"? Another important point is to observe repetitive cycles. Have you ever noticed that suddenly things constantly break down in your home? Appliances that burn out for no reason, light bulbs that go out frequently, leaks that return even after being repaired. Of course, there's a logical and material explanation, but is that always the case? Or could these constant breakdowns and failures be a reflection of an unbalanced energy field? Many don't realize it, but the spiritual also manifests itself through the physical. And what about dreams? How many times have you woken up startled with strange nightmares, especially when you're at home? It's as if home is the stage where energies try to communicate, and sleep is the opening for the mind to capture what it can't during the day. If these dreams are repeated, if the feeling upon waking is of exhaustion rather than rest, perhaps the answer lies less in the body and more in the environment in which you rest. After all, how can the soul rest in peace if the home is crying out for help? Another sign many overlook is changes in animal behavior. Dogs and cats, for example, have a heightened sensitivity to energy. If your pet suddenly starts barking or meowing at nothing, avoids certain corners of the house, or conversely insists on lying down in a single, specific spot, you can believe it. It's perceiving something your eyes can't see. Animals don't pretend. They don't rationalize. They feel. And they're often the first to alert you that the environment isn't in balance. And perhaps most shocking of all is when you realize that inside your home, nothing is flowing. Plans seem to stall. Money doesn't make ends meet. Health weakens. Relationships fray. It's as if the very energy of the home is draining the life force of its residents. Have you ever felt that your life is going better outside your home than inside it? If so, this is one of the clearest signs that your home is urgently in need of spiritual protection. The big question is, have you been paying attention to these signs? Or are you trying to convince yourself that it's just a phase, a coincidence, something that will pass on its own? The invisible only changes when it's recognized, and ignoring these signs can mean living in an increasingly difficult environment without realizing that the problem isn't just external, but comes from within your own home. Now, take a deep breath and think, isn't your home right now asking for your help? Isn't it crying out for spiritual protection that only you can offer? And that's exactly what we'll continue talking about in the next part, where you'll discover the 7 clear signs that your home is asking for spiritual protection, signs that may be happening right now before your eyes, and you may not have noticed yet. The first sign is the non-ambient weight. You enter your home and feel the dense air, as if there were an invisible layer covering the space. It doesn't matter if the windows are open or if the room is scented. The feeling of tiredness and discouragement takes over within the first few minutes. It's as if each step becomes more difficult, as if the home is draining your energy instead of restoring it. This sensation is no coincidence. It's the environment's first cry for help. The second sign is frequency of pointless arguments, fights that start over small things, irritations that grow out of nowhere, words that come out harsher than they should. When this happens repeatedly, believe me, the home is permeated with vibrations that fuel conflict. It's as if the energy of the environment amplifies discord, turning any detail into a source of weariness. Have you ever noticed that outside the home, coexistence seems lighter, but inside everything seems to flare up? The third sign is constant breakage of objects and electronics, light bulbs that burn out for no reason, appliances that fail repeatedly, leaks, and minor accidents that occur repeatedly. Of course, there's a physical explanation, but when this happens persistently, it can be a direct reflection of the imbalanced energy accumulating in the home. The house responds physically to what's heavy spiritually. It's as if it's screaming for attention. The fourth sign comes through the sleep and dreams. When your home needs protection, your rest is one of the first things to be affected. You may feel exhausted and wake up more tired than when you went to sleep. Sleep becomes light, interrupted, and full of jolts. Frequent nightmares are also a warning, especially if they involve repeated images of persecution, falling, or darkness. This is a direct reflection of an environment that needs purification. The spirit finds no peace because the home offers no peace. The fifth sign manifests itself in pets. Dogs and cats perceive the invisible before we do. If your dog barks at nothing, avoids certain corners, or gets restless in the early hours of the morning, you can be sure he's noticing something you're not. If your cat fixes his gaze on a specific spot or starts sleeping in the same place, insisting on protecting that space, it's a clear sign that the environment is unbalanced. Animals are silent guardians, and when they change their behavior, they're trying to warn you. The sixth sign is feeling of stagnation in life inside your home. You feel like nothing is moving forward, projects are stalled, money is slipping through your fingers, and motivation is disappearing. It's as if your home is draining your strength, preventing prosperity from manifesting. This blocked energy is one of the most common ways to realize that something spiritual needs to be addressed. Have you ever noticed that outside your home, things seem to flow smoothly, but inside everything is stuck? The seventh sign is presence of noises, shadows, or subtle movements, sounds that arise without explanation, like cracking sounds, light footsteps, doors creaking by themselves, shadows that appear in the corner of your vision, Lights that flicker for no reason, a feeling that something has moved quickly through the house. Many people ignore them or try to rationalize them, but those who understand spirituality know that they are manifestations of the invisible trying to make itself known. It's the most explicit sign that the home needs protection, prayer, energy, and light to ward off whatever doesn't belong there. These 7 signs don't appear by chance. They're like messages from the environment, showing that the spiritual is asking for help. The more you ignore them, the more they intensify, and when you finally understand and decide to act, everything begins to change. The house breathes, the energy flows, peace returns. Now the question is, have you identified any of these signs in your home? Have you felt the heaviness, the arguments, the objects breaking, the disturbed sleep, the restless animals, the stagnant life, or even the shadows and strange noises? If so, it's because your home is crying out for spiritual protection, and that's exactly what we'll talk about in the next section: how to act, what to do to purify, protect, and shield your home from these energies, bringing back the light and peace you and your family deserve. If you've already identified any of these signs in your home, know that it's not a reason to fear, but rather to take action. The first step to protecting your home is purify the environment. Physical cleansing already makes room for spiritual cleansing. When you sweep, dust, organize objects, and throw away what you no longer need, you're also removing stagnant energy charges. Broken objects, clothes you no longer wear, accumulated papers, all of these can retain energy and need to be released. It's as if each thing stored away unused is an anchor, blocking the circulation of light. After physical cleansing comes energy cleansing. The use of natural incense is one of the simplest and most effective ways. White sage, myrrh, and frankincense are powerful purifiers. When lighting, walk through the house, passing every corner, every door, and every window, asking that all dense energy be dissipated and that only light remain. As the smoke rises, imagine it taking with it everything that doesn't belong in your home. Another very powerful resource, Isel grossoit, is known for its ability to absorb negative energy. Place small jars or glass cups filled with water and coarse salt in corners of the house, especially near entryways and in the bedroom, where you sleep. Change them every 7 days. You'll often notice that the water becomes cloudy or the salt hardens, a sign that it has fulfilled its role as an energy filter. Prayer is the most important key. Choose a quiet time, gather your family if possible, and say a prayer of protection and gratitude, consecrating the home to divine light. Spiritual tradition doesn't matter. What matters is sincerity. You can say out loud, "May this home be blessed and protected. May all shadows be driven away, and may only energies of love, peace, and prosperity dwell here." Words have power, and when spoken with faith, they create an invisible shield. The use of herbs is also an ally. Baths with rue, rosemary, or basil for residents help balance their individual energy fields. For the home, you can prepare teas with these herbs, put them in a spray bottle, and sprinkle them in the corners of the rooms. It's as if you're marking each space with a light signature, banishing any heavy vibrations. Natural light and sound are also part of this protection. Open windows, let the sun in, let the wind circulate. Play soft music, mantras, or even sounds of nature. The environment responds to what it receives. If you nourish the home with harmony, it returns in the form of peace. A closed house in dense silence tends to accumulate even more weight. A bright and lively house naturally becomes a shield against any negative influence. Another powerful practice is to set up a spiritual corner. It could be a small altar with a candle, an open Bible, a sacred image, crystals, or whatever represents faith to you. This space becomes the spiritual heart of your home, a direct connection to the light. Whenever you feel heavy, go to this corner, say a prayer, Light a candle. This gesture creates an energetic anchor that strengthens the entire space. We can't forget the animals and plants, which are natural guardians of energy. Care for them with love, as they help balance the home. Plants like snake plant, rue, and sagebrush are known for the spiritual protection they offer. Besides providing decoration, they work silently, filtering and repelling dense energies. And most importantly, keep your heart in peace. You can clean, pray, light incense and candles. But if you constantly live in resentment, fear, or anger, the energy builds up again. The true shield of a home is born from what its residents emanate every day. When there is respect, gratitude, and love, the home automatically becomes protected. The spirits of light draw near, and nothing can stay there for long. If your home has shown signs of needing protection, start putting these guidelines into practice today. With small gestures, you'll already feel the difference. A lighter atmosphere, more peaceful nights, more harmonious relationships. Your home is a reflection of your energy, and caring for it means caring for yourself and everyone you love.